Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins History, Treasure Seekers and Coin Lovers. If you've ever sifted through a jar of old pennies or inherited a dusty box of coins, you might be sitting on something far more valuable than you imagined. Today, we're going deep into the world of classic American currency to explore a humble yet historic coin, the 1951 Lincoln Wheat Penny. At first glance, it might just look like another old copper penny. But hidden among these seemingly ordinary coins are rare treasures that could make your jaw drop, especially if you happen to spot the right mint mark or one of the rare error variations. So keep watching and listen closely, because one of these could be worth an unbelievable amount of money, and yes, we'll reveal the exact value in words at the end, so stay tuned. Let's start with a bit of backstory. The Lincoln Wheat Penny, also known as the Wheatie, was minted from 1909 to 1958 and features the iconic profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse showcases two wheat ears hugging the words, 1 cent, which gives the coin its popular nickname. Now, the 1951 Lincoln Wheat Penny might seem like a common date, but there's more to it than meets the eye. This coin was struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. Each mint produced millions of these coins, but not all pennies are created equal. The real intrigue comes from minting errors and condition, two critical factors that can turn a 1-cent coin into a small fortune. Let's talk errors, because this is where things get truly fascinating. Error coins are like hidden gems in the world of numismatics. They're born when something goes slightly wrong during the minting process, and that imperfection makes them incredibly valuable to collectors. In 1951, several types of errors were reported, and here are a few you should definitely look out for. One of the most well-known is the double die error, where the coin's design is accidentally struck twice, creating a ghost-like shadow effect on the lettering or date. Look closely at the Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date, 1951. If you see doubling, you might have something special. Another valuable error is the off-center strike, where the coin is not properly aligned during minting. If your coin's design is noticeably off-center, leaving a blank crescent on the edge, you've got a potential winner. Then there's the repunched mint mark, also known as RPM. This happens when the mint mark, like the D for Denver or the S for San Francisco, was stamped more than once but slightly misaligned. These subtle variations are highly prized by error collectors, but wait, there's more. Planchet errors, such as coins struck on the wrong metal or with a clipped edge, are even rarer and can significantly raise the value. Imagine discovering a 1951 penny struck on a silver planchet instead of copper. That's the kind of accidental miracle that collectors dream about. So how do you know if your 1951 wheat penny is valuable? First, check the mint mark just below the date on the obverse side. Then, examine the coin under magnification, look for doubling, any unusual shapes in the mint mark, or off-center designs. If you spot any of these errors, you could be looking at a coin worth far more than 1 cent. Condition also plays a massive role. Coins graded as MS, mint state, especially MS 65 or higher, are worth much more than circulated versions. A coin with its original red copper luster and sharp details is like a time capsule, and collectors will pay a premium for that level of preservation. To give you a sense of just how serious collectors are about these rare 1951 wheat pennies, let's look at recent auction history. In one high-profile sale, a 1951 D wheat penny with a rare mint error in superb condition caught the attention of serious bidders. After a fierce back and forth, the final hammer price stunned everyone. How much was it worth? Let's not keep you waiting any longer. That single, unassuming 1951 Lincoln Wheat Penny sold for an astounding $69,000. Yes, you heard that right, $69,000 for a coin that most people wouldn't think twice about. That's the magic of coin collecting. Sometimes, it's the small, forgotten treasures that hold the biggest surprises. So before you toss that old penny aside, give it a second look. You never know what you might find. If you've come across a 1951 wheat penny or have questions about your own collection, drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your story, and we just might feature it in a future video. Today, we're diving into one of the most iconic coins in American pocket change, the 1958 Lincoln Wheat Penny. Now, you might think, it's just a penny, right? But what if I told you that this small copper coin could be the key to unlocking a surprising and life-changing value? So sit tight, grab your magnifying glass, and get ready, because what we're about to uncover might just be sitting in your coin jar or tucked away in an old drawer. Let's set the stage. The year is 1958. The United States is booming after World War II, and American currency is being minted in massive numbers. But this year marks something special, the very last year the famous wheat reverse design appeared on the Lincoln cent. After 1958, the U.S. Mint switched to the Lincoln Memorial design, making the 1958 penny the final chapter in the beloved wheat penny series that began in 1909. That alone makes the 1958 penny historically significant. But what makes this coin even more fascinating to collectors are the rare minting errors and variations that exist, flaws that turn a common coin into a potential goldmine. Let's talk about mint marks. The 1958 Lincoln Wheat Penny comes in two versions, those minted in Philadelphia with no mint mark, and those from the Denver Mint, marked with a small D beneath the date. While the standard versions are collectible, it's the error coins that truly grab the attention, and the wallets of serious collectors. One of the most legendary errors connected to the 1958 penny is the 1958 double die obverse. This rare error occurred when the coin's design was struck twice on the same die, but slightly misaligned, creating a visible doubling effect on the front of the coin. It's not just a minor smudge, this doubling is so bold, you can see it without magnification in the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the date, 1958. This is one of the most dramatic and eye-catching double die errors ever found on a Lincoln cent, and it's incredibly rare. In fact, only a handful are known to exist, making it one of the holy grails for wheat penny collectors. If you ever find one of these coins, you're not just holding a penny, you're holding a piece of American coinage history that could change your financial future. There are also other, more subtle errors to keep an eye out for, like off-center strikes, where the coin design is misaligned during minting, and repunched mint marks, especially on the Denver versions. These types of errors may not be as dramatic as the famous double die, but they're still prized by collectors, especially when found in high-grade, uncirculated condition. Speaking of condition, the grade of a coin is critical when determining its value. Coins that are heavily circulated, scratched, or worn will fetch far less than those that have been carefully preserved. Collectors often seek coins in MS, mint state, 63 or higher, especially with vibrant red coloring, full original luster, and crisp details. To truly understand the value of a rare 1958 penny, let's look at some real-world examples. In recent years, certified double die specimens have sold at major auctions, and the bidding wars were intense. Collectors from all over the world competed to own this rare slice of minting history. When the final gavel dropped, the price was nothing short of astonishing, and now, the moment you've all been waiting for, a single 1958 Lincoln Wheat Penny with a rare double die obverse, preserved in mint state condition, once sold for a staggering $63,000. Yes, you heard that right, $63,000 for one little copper penny. That's the kind of surprise that makes coin collecting so exciting. It's not just a hobby, it's a treasure hunt where history and value go hand in hand. So, if you've got a 1958 penny lying around, don't dismiss it. Take a closer look. Examine it under light, check the lettering, inspect the mint mark. If you think you've found a doubling error or another rare variation, consider getting it authenticated and graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. Who knows? You might be holding a tiny fortune in the palm of your hand. If you've ever found a rare penny, or if you think you've got something special in your collection, drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your story and maybe even feature your coin in a future video. Today, we're diving into a penny that's not just iconic, it's legendary. The 1955 Lincoln Wheat Penny may look like just another copper coin, but don't be fooled. Some versions of this small cent have turned heads in the numismatic world for decades, and could be worth more than you ever imagined. So buckle up, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to identify a rare version of this coin, and why it could be worth more than a brand new luxury car. Let's rewind to the mid-1950s. Post-war America was booming, and the Lincoln wheat penny was a fixture in every pocket. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, the wheat penny became one of the longest-running and most beloved coin series in U.S. history. The 1955 version is particularly famous, and here's why. While millions of these coins were produced, something went wrong at the Philadelphia Mint, and that mistake created one of the most talked about and sought-after error coins in American history, the 1955 double die obverse. That's right, this isn't just any error. This is the double die that changed everything. Due to a misalignment during the hubbing process, the design on some of the 1955 pennies was accidentally stamped twice, slightly offset. The result? A coin that looks like it has a shadow or echo, especially noticeable on the inscriptions, "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the date, 1955. And we're not talking about some tiny detail that only an expert can spot under a microscope. The doubling on this coin is bold and dramatic, so much so that even a casual glance is enough to notice something is off. If you've ever seen one in person, you know exactly what I mean. It almost looks like the coin is vibrating with history. Because of its stunning visual appearance and its rarity, this error became one of the most famous in American coin collecting. In fact, it helped ignite a new level of interest in mint errors across the entire numismatic community. Now, here's the thing, not every 1955 penny is valuable. In fact, most 1955 wheat pennies are worth only a few cents to a couple of dollars in circulated condition. But if you're lucky enough to find one of the rare double die obverse versions, especially in high grade, you're holding a true treasure. Let's talk about how to identify it for yourself. Step 1. Look at the front of the coin, especially the word "Liberty." If the letters look like they're stamped twice, that's your first sign. Then, check "In God We Trust." If those letters seem thick, shadowed, or doubled, you're on the right track. Finally, take a close look at the date, 1955. If it looks blurry or duplicated, don't panic, just start smiling. Now, the condition of the coin makes a big difference in its value. A worn, circulated example of this error can still fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars, but coins in mint state condition, those that have never been used and still retain their full copper luster, can be worth exponentially more. In fact, grading is everything. A coin graded MS-65 read by services like PCGS or NGC can skyrocket in value. Why? Because it's not just rare, it's rare in pristine condition. This coin has become so legendary that it frequently appears in high-end auctions, commanding enormous prices. Collectors will bid fiercely for the chance to own this numismatic marvel, and now, it's time for the part you've all been waiting for. Let's talk about the real value of this tiny copper coin. Are you ready? A verified 1955 Lincoln wheat penny with the famous double die error, in exceptional mint state condition, once sold at auction for a breathtaking $64,000. That's right, $64,000 for a penny. It's one of the most dramatic examples of how a mistake can become a masterpiece, and how a 1-cent coin can become a life-changing discovery. So, if you've got a 1955 penny in your collection, or even in a jar of old change, take a closer look. You could be holding a piece of history that's also a serious payday. Have you found a coin with doubling before? Do you have a 1955 wheat penny in your collection? Let us know in the comments, we'd love to hear your stories. And if you have any questions or want us to review your coin photos in a future episode, just drop us a message below. Today, we're turning our attention to a coin that may seem simple at first glance but could be holding a huge secret, the 1953 Lincoln wheat penny. That's right. That old, coppery penny tucked away in a coin jar, lost in an attic box, or passed down from a grandparent might actually be worth thousands of dollars, if you know what to look for. So stay with me, because we're diving deep into the details that make this 1-cent coin incredibly rare, valuable, and absolutely thrilling for collectors across the world. Let's start with the basics. The Lincoln wheat penny, also called the Wheatie by collectors, was minted from 1909 until 1958. It features the iconic image of President Abraham Lincoln on the front, designed by Victor D. Brenner, and 2 stylized wheat ears on the back. The 1953 version sits squarely in the post-World War II era, a time when the U.S. economy was shifting, and coin production was running high. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The 1953 penny was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, with no mint mark; Denver, with a small D; San Francisco, marked with an S. Each mint produced millions of coins, but not all of them were created perfectly. And it's those small mistakes, those little slips in the minting process, that turn an ordinary penny into a collector's dream. Let's talk about those errors. In the world of numismatics, errors aren't just flaws, they're features. Unique variations that make a coin one of a kind. The 1953 wheat penny has a few known types of minting errors that make certain coins extremely valuable. First up, the double die error. This is when the coin's design is struck twice by the die, but the alignment is slightly off. If you look at a 1953 penny and notice that the letters "In Liberty, in God We Trust," or the date, 1953, appear doubled, almost like a shadow behind the letters, you could be looking at a rare variety. This kind of error can dramatically increase the coin's value, especially in higher grades. Another important error is the repunched mint mark, or RPM. This happens when the mint mark, either D or S, was punched more than once into the die in slightly different positions. Under magnification, it may look like a ghosted second mint mark hiding behind the first. RPMs are particularly popular among collectors because they're clear, distinct, and rare. You'll also want to watch out for off-center strikes, die cracks, planchet flaws, or even coins struck on the wrong type of metal. These kinds of physical errors can make a huge difference in value, especially when the coin is well preserved, and that brings us to another key point: condition. Even with a rare error, the grade of the coin can make or break its market value. A circulated 1953 penny with some wear might fetch a decent price if it has an error, but a coin in mint state condition, especially one graded MS-65 or higher, can be worth multiples more. Collectors pay top dollar for coins with bright red luster, sharp details, and minimal damage. Let me give you some real-world perspective. In the world of auctions, rare 1953 pennies with dramatic doubling or mint mark variations have sparked bidding wars. Collectors who know the rarity of these coins don't hesitate to shell out serious money for a pristine example. In some cases, these coins have shattered expectations with their final sale prices. Now, I know what you're really wondering: just how much could one of these rare 1953 wheat pennies be worth? Let's not keep the suspense going any longer. One specific 1953 Lincoln wheat penny, with a striking double die error and graded in exceptional mint condition, was once auctioned for a jaw-dropping $71,000. Yes, you heard that right. $71,000. For a coin most people would pass over without a second thought. It's a perfect example of how knowledge, patience, and a good eye can turn pocket change into a small fortune. So here's the big takeaway: check your coins. Examine every 1953 penny you come across. Look for doubling, inspect the mint mark, and don't overlook minor details. That one odd-looking penny in your change could be the exact type of error coin that collectors are willing to pay thousands, or tens of thousands, for. If you've got a 1953 wheat penny, or if you found one with a strange marking, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your story and help you figure out whether you might be holding onto a hidden treasure today, because right now, we're unlocking the secrets behind the 1937 Lincoln wheat penny, a small, copper coin that could be hiding in a shoebox, a coin jar, or an old collection, just waiting to change your life. And yes, we'll be revealing just how much one of these rare pennies sold for, in words, at the very end. So stay tuned, because you won't want to miss it. Let's take a quick journey back in time. The year is 1937. The Great Depression is still casting a long shadow over the American economy, but recovery is beginning. Families are stretching every dollar. Pennies are precious. And during this era, the Lincoln wheat penny was already a household staple. First introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the Lincoln wheat penny features his iconic portrait on the obverse and 2 wheat stalks on the reverse, a simple, classic design that ran until 1958. But not all wheat pennies are created equal, and the 1937 version? It has a few very special secrets. This coin was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, with a D below the date; and San Francisco, with an S, and while tens of millions were produced, a handful of these coins were struck with errors that today make them some of the most valuable pennies in existence. So what kinds of errors are we talking about? Let's start with the holy grail of wheat penny errors, the double die obverse. This happens when the coin's design is impressed more than once by the die, but not perfectly aligned. The result? Doubling that's clearly visible, sometimes even to the naked eye, on the date, the word liberty, and the phrase, "In God we trust." If your 1937 penny shows any signs of that doubling, you might want to sit down, because you could be holding a rare and extremely valuable piece of minting history. But that's not all. Another major error collectors look for is the repunched mint mark, or RPM. These errors occur when the mint mark, like the D for Denver or the S for San Francisco, was manually punched into the die more than once in slightly different positions. When magnified, you'll see ghost-like outlines or shadows of the mint mark. These repunched marks are highly desirable to error coin collectors, also on the rare list, off-center strikes. These are coins where the die missed its mark, and the design is not centered. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin, especially if the date is still fully visible. There are even rarer cases where 1937 wheat pennies were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning they were accidentally minted on blanks meant for other coins. These kinds of wrong metal errors are extremely scarce and can fetch massive premiums at auction. Now, let's talk about condition, because this is what separates a good coin from a great one. Even a 1937 penny with no error can be worth something if it's in excellent condition. We're talking about mint state coins, graded MS 63, MS 65, even MS 67. These are coins that have been perfectly preserved, with original red luster, sharp detail, and no wear. So what happens when you take a rare 1937 penny with a known error and combine that with mint state condition? Let me tell you, you get fireworks at auction houses. In recent years, these ultra-rare 1937 error pennies have turned heads and opened wallets. Collectors know how limited these coins are, and they're willing to pay serious money to get their hands on one. The competition is fierce, the bidding is intense, and the final prices? Absolutely jaw-dropping. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for: how much could a rare 1937 Lincoln wheat penny be worth? Well, in one legendary auction, a single 1937 penny with a significant mint error and graded in nearly flawless mint state condition was sold for an astonishing $171,000. Yes, you heard that right. $171,000. For a penny. That's the power of rarity, error variety, and perfect condition all coming together. It's a reminder that sometimes, the smallest coins can carry the biggest stories, and the greatest rewards. So here's the big question: have you checked your change? Have you looked through that box of old coins in the closet or those pennies from your grandfather's drawer? If you've got a 1937 wheat penny, it's time to take a close look. Check the mint mark. Look for doubling. Use a magnifying glass. That one odd-looking cent could be your golden ticket. If you found a 1937 penny with an unusual feature, or you just want to know more about your coins, drop us a comment below. We'd love to hear your story, help you figure out what you've got, and maybe even feature your coin in a future episode. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss out on more hidden treasures from the world of coins. Thanks for watching, happy collecting, and remember, the next time you see a penny, look twice. Because it just might be worth $171,000.